Here's some random Mario facts. You might know that Mario's original name was Jumpman, but what you might not know was that the name Mario was actually inspired by a real person. You see, in 1981, Nintendo was renting out a warehouse in Tukwila, Washington to use as their American headquarters. There, a man named Mario Segala left an impression on his Nintendo tenants when he stormed into their offices demanding late rent. Even Segala's predilection for overalls and short stature seems to have influenced Mario's design throughout the years. Sadly, Segala passed away in 2018 at the age of 84 years old. But he's left an everlasting impression on Nintendo, embodied by the gaming company's mascot to this day. In Paper Mario 64, Luigi keeps his diary in a secret basement under his and Mario's house. If you manage to read the entries, you can find one entry reveals Luigi's afraid of ghosts, and another where he says he wants to have the lead role in his own adventure. These diary entries are referencing Luigi's Mansion, which was in active development at the time for the GameCube. In Super Paper Mario, there was one change to the game's script between the two English localizations of the game. In North America, Dimencio insults Luigi by calling his mustache a shag, but as this doubles as a vulgar slang term in British English, a reference to the act of sex, it was changed to pussover in the PAL region of the game's release. During early development of Super Mario 64, when character movement and camera angles were being coded, they only had two characters in the game at the time, being Mimps the Rabbit and Mario. Mimps was only planned to be a test dummy. However, it actually made it into the final game because the developers grew fond of them. Shigeru Miyamoto wanted Mario to have a dinosaur companion ever since the original Super Mario Bros., but it wasn't thought possible at the time due to the limitations of the NES. He wanted to implement Yoshi in Super Mario Bros. 3, but again could not until the SNES was released. Two power-ups were created to fill the void Yoshi left in Mario Bros. 3, Raccoon and Frog Mario. Co-worker Takashi Tsuzuka once speculated that Miyamoto's love of horse riding had influenced Yoshi's creation. In Super Mario RPG, Luigi was originally going to join the party, but it was Shigeru Miyamoto who advised that he be replaced due to being too similar to Mario, reportedly stating that in a role-playing game, each party member should be very different and have very different abilities. That is what makes the game interesting. The Bowsers in the castles of World 1 through 7 in the original Super Mario Bros. Are actually just common enemies disguised as him. You can reveal their true forms by killing them with fireballs. In the Japanese version of Super Mario World for the SNES, Yoshi could eat the dolphins. This was removed from the international release, though. It's thought it was removed because of different cultural views towards dolphins, or simply to make the level easier to finish, as the dolphins can be used as platforms. Eventually, however, this was later added back into all versions of Super Mario World for the Game Boy Advance. The original Donkey Kong game was originally said to be a Popeye arcade game. Mario was Popeye, Pauline was Olive Oil, and DK was Bluto. Nintendo lost the license to the game, however, but Miyamoto did not want to drop the project, so he filled in the blanks with his own characters, thus resulting in the game and characters that we know of today. An island in Mario Bros. 3 actually looks like Japan, and its castle is where the city Kyoto would be, which is where Nintendo headquarters actually is located in. The king of the castle on this island looks a lot like Mario, who you could say is the king of Nintendo. Mario Kart 64 originally contained several nods to real-world companies, such as Marlboro cigarettes, Gip gasoline, Mobil oil, and Goodyear. They were altered internationally for two likely reasons. One of the companies parodied sold cigarettes, possible trouble for an E-rated game, and any of them could have sued. In Mario Tennis on the N64, Waluigi was created as a rival to Luigi. There were also talks of a Princess Peach counterpart to further expand the roster early in the game's development. However, this proposed Wall Peach character was ultimately dismissed by Miyamoto, sadly, for the game's final release. Koopa Troopas were inspired by creatures in Japanese folklore called kappas. Kappas were about the size of a young boy and covered in green scales. They were fond of cucumbers, sumo wrestlers, and playing pranks like passing gas loudly and looking up women's kimonos, a type of Japanese dress. There are also many tales of kappas, drowning animals, and people. Koopas were also going to be the only enemy type in the original Super Mario Bros. For the NES, but other enemies were added due to playtesters saying Koopas were too tricky to beat. Instead of using the anti-gravity mechanic in Mario Kart 8, Nintendo originally planned to have drills on the carts so players could travel through the Earth. This was later scrapped. However, for the anti-gravity mechanic we know of today, Nintendo allocated $80 million to provide gaming gloves to players who had hurt their hands while playing the notorious original Mario Party joystick rotating minigames on the N64. In every Mario Party game, the outcome of every dice roll has nothing to do with how the player hits the block. The outcome is decided at the beginning of the turn, and any effect the player believes they have on the block is an illusion created by the game developers. A recent study found that playing Super Mario 64 caused increases in the brain regions responsible for spatial orientation, memory formation, and strategic planning, as well as fine motor skills. On the PAL and US box arts of Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, the L on Luigi's cap is actually incorrectly backwards. Super Mario Galaxy 2's disc ID is actually Super Mario Galaxy More. This could suggest that Nintendo originally planned the game to be an expansion pack rather than a true sequel to Mario Galaxy 1. In issue 260 of Nintendo Power, Yoji Naka revealed the initial concept for Sonic the Hedgehog's gameplay came from playing level 1-1 of the original Super Mario Bros. For the NES over and over again as fast as he could, since you always had to play the level first, regardless of whether you used warp zones or not. He said, "I always tried to get through the level as fast as I could, and that inspired the initial concept for Sonic the Hedgehog." Shigeru Miyamoto and Gunpei Yokoi worked on a game together called Seesaw that was never finished. It, however, eventually became the Lips in Super Mario Bros. For the NES. According to Super Mario Bros. Developer Takashi Tezuka, there was a stage in Super Mario World's development where Yoshi was a type of Koopa. A relic of this idea is Yoshi's cell-like saddle that can be seen on him today. In Super Mario Galaxy, there is a hidden toy train located in Toy Time Galaxy. It serves no purpose and was likely left in as a gag by the developers. There is an unused animated Yoshi egg texture in Super Mario 64's data, suggesting that Yoshi was going to play a bigger role in the game, similar to Super Mario World. Luigi's name comes from a pun on the Japanese word Luigi, meaning similar. The fact that Luigi is also an Italian name made it a perfect fit for Mario's brother. ID Software sent a PC demo of Super Mario Bros. 3 to Nintendo, hoping to gain approval to make an official PC port. Nintendo was impressed but ultimately declined, deciding to stick to their own platforms. It was based on a previous demo titled Dangerous Dave in Copyright Infringement, which was a playable recreation of World 1-1 with Dangerous Dave in Mario's place. In an interview about the Super Mario series for the then upcoming 30th anniversary, Shigeru Miyamoto implied that Dr. Mario was not a licensed doctor. Despite this, in the background of the title screen for the game Dr. Mario Miracle Cure, a degree can be seen on the wall. The manual for Super Mario World reveals that the sunken ghost ship from the game is actually an airship that was used by the Koopalings in Super Mario Bros. 3. The weird mushroom power-up in Mario Maker 1 was based off a glitch in the game's beta where if Mario got a super mushroom as Little Mario, his little sprite would stretch to fit in 2 blocks. In Game & Watch Gallery 2, one of Toad's hints for a game explains how you have to catch all of the characters being Bob-ombs, and avoid the coins. What you're actually supposed to do, however, is catch the coins and dodge the Bob-ombs. When Flood scans Mario at the beginning of Mario Sunshine, the names of all mainline Mario games at the time flash on the screen. In Mario is Missing, a woman who provides the help information bears a strong resemblance to Princess Daisy. However, it is still not confirmed by Nintendo as to whether this character is Daisy or not. When Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is played on a Nintendo DS, the Y and X buttons do nothing at all, but when the game was released for the Wii U Virtual Console, the Y and X buttons were reprogrammed to be alternate buttons for the bros. Y for the front bro, or Mario in battle, and X for the back bro, or Luigi in battle. This is also in Mario & Luigi Dream Team. This was later removed in the remake of the game for the Nintendo 3DS, as both buttons now have new purposes. Y is now used to switch between the brothers whenever they're separated, and X is used for Mario and Luigi to jump simultaneously. There is a scene in a Japanese version of the Thousand Year Door involving a chalk-shaped outline of a toad that is found in Larson's house. This was removed from the international release due to it being violent and to avoid controversy during its original release on the GameCube. Due to a mix-up involving GameStop, the automatic phone message sent to those who pre-ordered Mario Galaxy on the Wii stated the game would be rated mature by the ESRB. During an interview with Yosaki Koizumi, director of Super Mario Galaxy and creator of Rosalita, on the development of the game, he explained that Rosalita was originally meant to be related to Peach, but it's not clear if this is still the case, as in her art book, there's a description of her mother who resembles Peach but in a blue dress. In the 1980s, 8-bit home consoles did have the ability to have sprites that had more than 3 colors. However, Bowser appears to have 4. This is due to his shackles being a result of the black background. Hacking him into any level without a black background will make Bowser's hands look disconnected with his arms. The box art for Mario Bros. 2 changed the emphasis of some words from the first Mario Bros. Game. In the first game, the words Mario Bros. Were bigger than the word Super, but with Mario Bros. 2, the word Super Mario became bigger than the word Bros. However, in the title screen of the game itself, the same text is used as the first game. It has been speculated that Wario and Waluigi are brothers. In the official guide to Mario Party 5, it confirms that Wario and Waluigi are not brothers. Their team name is even called the Wicked Bros rather than the Wario Bros. However, the official guide for Mario Kart Wii states that they are brothers. There have been many contradictions to this, as Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games states that they aren't brothers, while the official websites for Mario Tennis on the N64 and Mario Kart DS refer to them as brother and siblings respectively. However, Waluigi's trophy description in Super Smash Bros. Melee states that their relationship is unclear. Interestingly, Captain Toad is actually quite athletic in the Mario Galaxy series, being able to wall jump and perform other advanced tactics, as shown by the Berage's dialogue when Captain Toad chases the chimp in Fluffy Bluff Galaxy. However, he is not seen performing these actions in later games due to his heavy backpack weighing him down significantly. When Yoshi first wears Mario's cap in Super Mario 64 DS, the message that explains Mario's abilities has an error where it claims Mario can press A to perform a wall kick. This is technically correct, but only for the original Nintendo 64 version of Mario 64, where jumping is mapped to the A button. In Super Mario 64 DS, the action is mapped to the B button instead. It is likely that the text was written with the original control scheme in mind and was overlooked during testing after the Nintendo DS control scheme had been finalized. Bowser actually has a brother that appears only in Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. He is a blue-colored version of Bowser and is a recurring boss throughout the game. He is also stated to be the youngest of the Bowser twins. Originally, he is only referred to as simply a false Bowser, with there even being a guy that mocks the players for believing that he is Bowser's twin. Later on, however, this was changed in later material, as he was then referred to as Bowser's younger brother. However, this went back and forth with him being either considered Bowser's brother or simply a fake. In the most recent material referencing him, it states that his true identity is simply unknown. If more than one character wins a minigame in Mario Party 1, it will be shown with an error, with the singular wins being used instead of one. This was fixed, however, in subsequent games in the series. It is widely assumed that Toad and Toadette are boyfriend and girlfriend. However, the official guides for Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart 8, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe state that they're brother and sister. Despite this, other sources have been ambiguous about the relationship, but a large number of them say that they're only friends. According to Greg Maylis, designer of Donkey Kong Country and the Banjo-Kazooie series, on Rareware.com's former Scribes column, K. Rool's motivation for stealing the banana hoard is either that he wants Donkey Kong to starve to death so that he can occupy his treehouse, or simply just the fact that he likes bananas. The latter explanation is contradicted in DK Jungle Climber though, as K. Rool states he despises bananas. In the original Japanese release of Thousand Year Door, as well as several other translations, Vivian is depicted as a transgender woman. The Italian translation in particular even has her state that she's proud of her transition, saying, "I'm proud to have become a woman." In the English release, however, mentions and references to her being transgender are censored or removed, likely to maintain a certain age rating. Though several lines alluding to this fact remain in the game, they lack any direct references to her gender. In the first 3 Smash Bros. Games, the coins in Mario's variant of the Super Jump Punch Up special move are actually designed after the ones for Mario 64, while in Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS onward, they are designed after the Star Coins from the new Super Mario Bros. Games. In Smash Bros. Ultimate, when Mario performs the move, Mario's cap occasionally turns into Cappy, and Metro Kingdom regional coins from Mario Odyssey sometimes appear instead of regular coins, although both changes are purely cosmetic and do not affect gameplay. Spike Super Mario Bros. 3 sprite depicts it as nearly bald, with only 2 pixels associated for hair, and its Yoshi story appearance depicts it as completely hairless, compared to its later appearances, where it has far more hair. There is a glitch in World 4-6 in New Super Mario Bros. DS that allows Mario or Luigi to basically fly. Around halfway into the level, there is a platform with upside down piranha plants above it. Waiting on this platform for around 40 seconds, crossing it, then jumping to the right towards the poison water will allow Mario to walk on air for the rest of the level until the warp pipe, which leads to the flagpole. When asked what video game character would represent him the best, Shigeru Miyamoto responded that Lakitu would, as he seems to be very free, floating in the air, going anywhere, a type of personality Miyamoto can relate to. It is well known that Daisy's trophy in Super Smash Bros. Melee has an eye hidden at the back of her head. The eye texture is actually tied across the entirety of her head, and the developers made the copies invisible, missing one in the back. In truth, Daisy has 9 or 10 or so additional warped eyes around her noggin, and possibly more around her body, as the developers appeared to have simply used a particular texture and they covered up most of the unwanted features. In Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, although Baby Bowser has 20 HP in Baby Mario's tutorial battle, you actually automatically win the battle after 5 turns. If you manage to chip away all his HP in under 5 turns, however, the game will actually freeze. In Mario Sports Mix, the hockey sport in the game is presented as ice hockey. However, on every court except Mario Stadium, the characters play roller hockey instead. In most countries, the name hockey is generally used for field hockey. However, this variant of hockey is not playable in Mario Sports Mix. An unused Giga Mushroom power-up named Kanoko Giga can be found in 3D World plus Bowser's Fury's files. It has 7 animations, but each one contains no data. Touching it plays the item into inventory sound. If Mario is normal, it turns him into Giga Mario. If he is in his cat form, it turns him into Giga Cat Mario. Clearly, this power-up would have been used in the Bowser's Fury mode of the game. In Mario Odyssey, a Link costume set was included alongside other costumes within the game's files before version 1.2.0. While every other costume not obtainable in the base game was periodically periodically released following launch. This was the only costume that would never see the light of day, as in version 1.2.0 all references to the Link set were removed. In New Super Mario Bros. DS's introduction, where Mario walks towards the castle, after observing a lightning strike, there appears to be moving people in the background, but due to the resolution of the game, it is difficult to tell what they are supposed to be. Although common sense suggests they are meant to be Toads, and a leaked document confirms this, when the game is played in a higher resolution, however, it turns out they are actually multiple copies of Toadsworth, moving around with no animations. This could suggest that Toadsworth was originally meant to be a normal Toad in the game, but maybe they just chose Toadsworth's model, as he resembles Toad without having to create another model for the game to use. Unlike the original New Super Mario Bros. U game, the spin jump and actions triggered by the same button and movement can also be activated by pressing the jump button while in mid-air in the deluxe port of the game, but this can be annoying when trying to do precise jumps, so they actually provided a method to disable it. Oddly, the only way to disable it though is with an undocumented button combination. On the file select screen, press the left stick down for about 3 seconds and you will hear Nabbit's voice. Then you could start the file you selected with the function disabled. The original plan for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was a game featuring Link from the Legend of Zelda series. Shigeru Miyamoto showed confusion with this and thought they were making some sort of toy with it. After it was revealed to be a game, Nintendo stopped it, however. But Miyamoto saw potential and turned it into the game we see today featuring Toad. Super Mario Land was proposed to be bundled with the original Game Boy on its release day in regions outside of Japan, but Tetris was chosen instead because of its addictive nature. Bob-ombs are one of the few creatures in the Super Mario series to actually have a major design change. In their debut game, Super Mario Bros. 2, they actually had arms, but other games tended to depict them as being armless. In the Japanese version of Mario Kart Super Circuit, the Shy Guys in Sunset Wilds were Native American war bonnets. They were removed in the international release, most likely out of sensitivity towards indigenous cultures. However, interestingly, while the face paint was removed in the preview image in the international versions, the sprites themselves were not altered to compensate, if you look closely enough. Even though Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't included in the 3D All-Stars collection, the You Got a Star jingle from the game is used as the collection's startup music, albeit higher pitched and abridged compared to the original. In Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, an event match called Below the Belt references Mario's appearance as the referee in Punch-Out! The match is over, but a wireframe Little Mac won't stop attacking a defenseless Little Mac, and so you play as Mario, specifically the Fire Mario alternate to resemble the referee color scheme to KO wireframe Mac. An in-game second in New Super Luigi U is actually 1 second, while in New Super Mario Bros. U, an in-game second lasts only 0.75 seconds. If you max up the coin counter in New Super Mario Bros. 2 with basically 10 million coins, instead of a gold Mario statue, there will actually be a gold raccoon Mario statue on the title screen instead. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games is actually not the first time that Mario takes part in the Olympics, as he competed in an event called Intergalactical Olympics in the Club Nintendo comic Super Mario Lost in Time. The Gold Classics pack is the only downloadable pack in New Super Mario Bros. 2 to contain a boss, and the only one not included within any bundle. Super Mario 3D Land actually had a reversible cover, with the inside depicting red outlined characters, enemies, and items over a white background. Although the outside cover may change based on the region, the inside cover always looked the same. This reversible cover was not used in all print runs, nor in the Nintendo Selects version of the game. If you speed up Ashley's theme from the WarioWare series, at one point, it sounds like she is saying, "I have granted kids to hell." This has since been disproven by Nintendo themselves as a mondegreen, meaning a misinterpretation of lyrics, as the actual lyrics, when sped up, are "I of Grand this kid so pan." In the Super Mario Bros. Super Show episode Plumber's Academy, an unnamed overweight plumber wearing yellow and purple clothing can be seen as a classmate of Mario and Luigi. This character's similarity to Wario is probably coincidental, as Wario's debut came 3 years after the Super Mario Bros. Super Show was produced. In Mario Kart Tour, only 3 characters from the mainline Mario Kart series, excluding the GP series, haven't returned, which are Paratroopa from Mario Kart Double Dash, Rob from Mario Kart DS, and Honey Queen from Mario Kart 7. The Bulb Berry power-up from Mario Galaxy 2 is missing from the back of the game's box, where all the new power-ups for Yoshi and Mario are mentioned. Mario Kart Double Dash is the first Mario Kart game where Donkey Kong is provided with a voice actor, being Grant Kirkhope via archive sounds. Before, chimpanzee screeching sound effects were previously used for the character in the last 2 Mario Kart titles. Mario Party Advance is the only game in the entire Mario Party series not to feature Wario in it at all. Penny usually was depicted with having brown eyes ever since WarioWare's smooth moves, but in WarioWare Gold, she was confirmed to have light blue eyes instead. If the player waits around 50 minutes on the pause screen of Wario World, Wario's chanting will stop, and after a brief pause, he will grumbly say sorry and will no longer chant. Pauline currently holds the record for the most years between a character's original debut and their first playable appearance in the Super Mario franchise, with nearly 38 years between Donkey Kong and Mario Tennis Aces. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle was actually not the first attempt by Ubisoft to cross over Mario with the Rabbids. Although details are scarce, it is reported on that in 2010, Ubisoft Paris had pitched a Mario/Rabbids crossover adventure game for the Wii, which ended up being rejected by Nintendo. In Mario Sunshine, the prison bell tower has a nearly inaccessible rocket nozzle box that can only be attained through glitching. The music for the world maps in the game Puzzle and Dragon Super Mario Bros. Edition are mostly remixes of the new Super Mario Bros. Wii's world map themes, except for World 2's, which is instead a remix of Slime Spring Galaxy's theme from Mario Galaxy 2, and World 8, which has the music from New Super Mario Bros. U's 8th World. Despite having no official simplified Chinese language support and no official release in mainland China, Super Mario Run has an official FAQ page in simplified Chinese, along with the other officially available languages. Although the Mystery Mushroom was removed from Mario Maker on the 3DS, it was still obtainable through 2 overlooked methods by the developers prior to version 1.0.3. First, a big Magic Koopa could still randomly turn a brick block into one with his magic attacks, and the other being one can appear in Course Editor if the player places a weird mushroom in a question block, the Super Mario Bros. Game style, switches the style to a different game, runs several screens away, then switches the style back to Super Mario Bros. And returns. When Mario obtains a Mystery Mushroom, he gains the characteristics of Super Mario while retaining the appearance of Small Mario. When Mario is hurt in this form, a Super Mushroom will fly off of him, just as a costume will fly off of Mario in the Wii U version of the game, when he is hurt in costume form. In offline play for Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, except for Time Trials, which uses Summer as the only theme for the sake of consistency among time trial records, it is possible to select the season of the Animal Crossing track by holding down a shoulder button before the race starts if the player is using the Wii U gamepad, the Classic Controller Pro, or the Wii U Pro Controller. Holding L selects Spring, holding R selects Summer, holding ZL selects Autumn, and holding ZR selects Winter. This code also returns using the same button combinations in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. However, when playing in mirror mode, the code is inversed. Holding R selects Spring, holding L selects Summer, holding ZR selects Autumn, and holding ZL selects Winter. The game Dr. Mario and Puzzle League on the Game Boy Advance is actually the last game in the Dr. Mario series to have a physical release, as every game released after it was only made available as a digital download. Super Mario Odyssey actually has 2 secret pause menu Easter eggs. The reason this works is because each menu option plays different music notes. So the first Easter egg is when you simply pause and unpause the game very quickly, you can hear the 1-up sound, despite 1-ups not being in the game at all. And the next Easter egg is you go into options happens, choose mode, and it puts back twice. When you add all these sound effects together, it plays the Mario Galaxy Observatory theme. Upon entering his shop in Donkey Kong Country Returns, Cranky Kong sometimes greets DK by ironically asking him who hasn't stolen his bananas at this point, thus indirectly referencing how the Kremlings were involved in the theft of the banana horde before the Tiki Tak tribe was. He also sometimes tells him, "See you later, alligator," before chuckling to himself when he leaves. Tiny Kong's Mario Super Slugger's baseball card describes her as the smallest of the Kongs, despite that her redesign since Diddy Kong Racing DS had already been established. Candy Kong was going to be a playable character and replacing Redneck Kong in Diddy Kong Pilot for GBA, but was not published by the time Rare was bought by Microsoft in 2002. So Diddy Kong Pilot was cancelled, causing Candy to not be playable in the mid-2000s. Because of this, she has not been able to take off the dishonor of being an NPC. She also hasn't even been in the game in nearly 2 decades since DK Jungle Climber. Because of the cancellation of Diddy Kong Pilot, Candy Kong alongside Swanky Kong are the only Kong allies who have yet to be playable characters in the Mario or Donkey Kong series. Several games in which Donkey Kong Jr. appears actually contain doppelgangers. Examples of such games include the Game & Watch Gallery series, which seems to depict Donkey Kong Jr. as a species rather than an individual character, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, which includes a second Donkey Kong Jr. colored pink, and Mario Kart Double Dash, which includes many Donkey Kong Jr. lookalikes as audience members in Waluigi's Stadium to be specific. Even an early design for the helper monkeys in Donkey Kong Jungle Beat also resemble multiple Donkey Kong Jr.'s, particularly his prototypical Double Dash model but without his shirt. Goomba has a C down command like all other partners in the original Paper Mario. In the beginning of the game, when Goomba acts as Mario's partner, pressing C down makes Goomba move behind Mario if he is not already. In the Japanese guidebook for The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, it is stated that Shane Chomps were actually supposed to debut in the Legend of Zelda series, but would mainly appear as enemies in the Mario franchise. Similarly, fire bars were planned to first appear in the original Legend of Zelda game, but ended up being first used in the original Super Mario Bros. One official Mario Kart DS render features characters driving around a globe. For an unknown reason, Yoshi's model in this render has a much smaller nose than in other artwork for the game, however. When picking up a kitten in Bowser's Fury, a rare kitten glued to face phenomenon may occur whereby Mario will stop actively holding the kitten in his hands, but it will continue adhering to him as though attached with glue. In Luigi's Mansion 1, the close-up cutscenes of Luigi opening doors actually use a different model for Luigi's arms, which are much larger than his regular arms. If you combine his cutscene arms with his regular body, you can actually see the difference on how long these arms are. In the original GameCube version of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, there is a penguin in Postley Heights that appears to say the same thing for the entire game. However, when Mario gets the last email from Peach, exactly one word in his dialogue changes from eh to huh and nothing else. This has now been fixed in the remake, however, as now he says eh throughout the entire game. In Super Paper Mario, the original animation for the Rainbow Bridge in the over there area was supposed to be Tetris themed. It is possible this was removed due to being such a blatant reference to a non-Nintendo property that it raised concerns over IP rights. In Paper Mario Color Splash, the lyrics that play during the battery's animation are in German. According to the in-game manual, they mean "listen up you fools, listen to the battery" when translated. However, the actual lyrics appear to translate to "hear you fools," the charged up word. During the development of Mario Galaxy 2, it contained a dialogue test zone area that was later removed in the final game. However, its dialogue still survives. It would have contained bizarre interactions such as a toad saying "crab crab mochi, crab crab crab," and another toad simply saying the number 3.